thank you all for coming. I want to start by saying this is a very complicated issue that we're dealing with here, the strike. So just bear with me a little bit. I'm not going to talk as fast as I usually do. I'm going to have to do a lot of reading because there are some numbers that we want to make sure are accurate. I'll give a statement, some information, some updates, and then we'll take some questions if you have those. And if you don't know, I'm Stacey Howard, spokesperson for the district. John Halfaker, Executive Director of Schools for the Northwest, and Kevin Wynkoop is the principal at Ballard High School. They're both on the bargaining team. We'd like to start by saying how important it is to recognize that we appreciate our teachers and educators and believe we have made a fair offer that supports student achievement and offers our SEA partners strong salary compensation. It's also important to note that we must protect our fiscal health as we support our teachers. Our goal is a contract that puts student first, honors teachers, but is also fiscally sound. It is our duty to protect the district financially as we support our teachers. A contract that is not fiscally sound ultimately will hurt our students and teachers. We are offering a substantial pay raise. Our most recent counteroffer provides a 14% pay raise over 3 years for teachers, including the state cost of living adjustment, otherwise known as COLA. Our previous contract for SEA, which included raises for teachers despite no COLA from the state, exceeded the cost of inflation by nearly 2%. The district is proposing a 3-year contract that will cost $29.4 million over the first 2 years. SEA has proposed a 2-year contract that would cost $84.3 million, more than twice as much. Our most recent counteroffer also included adding 20 minutes of student instructional time beginning in the 3rd year of the contract. We are not extending the teacher workday. Our elementary students have one of the shortest instructional days in the state at 6 hours and 10 minutes. 20 more minutes brings us close to the statewide average of 6.5 hours at the elementary level. By adding instructional minutes to our student day, we can meet academic assurances, social, emotional, and physical education needs. At the high school level, the additional instructional time will help us as we prepare to meet the increased credit requirements coming from the state in 2017. All indicators show that negotiations will resume tomorrow morning. The SPS bargaining team is ready and willing to continue talks day, night, weekends, anytime, as we have been throughout the entire bargaining process. At this time, no legal action is planned, as we are hopeful to have a swift resolution so our teachers and students can begin the school year.
Why no negotiations today?
We were willing to meet. We did not have a response that I'm aware of from SEA on bargaining at this point.
That's interesting. They said they were willing to meet too.
They also had a lot of responsibilities to start their picket lines. They wanted to make sure they had a good showing, and so it's not a surprise that they weren't able or willing to meet us here today to negotiate.
Is there a timeline for legal action?
Not at this point.
Can you clarify when you said that the extra 20 minutes is not extending their workday? What does that mean?
There are a number of different parts of their scheduled day that are flexible. Things that were put aside in state law that are no longer required, like the 30 minutes before and after the school day. There's also some self-directed time in our elementary school contract currently. There's unscheduled collaboration time in our elementary contract. All of these are the types of things that can be utilized strategically to extend the school day, but not ask for a longer day from our teachers.
Is that a 20 or 30-minute increase in the instructional day that we're looking at?
Our current proposal is a 20-minute longer student instructional day without a longer teacher day.
But is it a longer teacher instructional day where all those things you mentioned, things that teachers were being paid for anyway?
This is where it starts to get a little complicated, and I don't want to go all the way into the details, but it would not be a longer instructional week for them because we have talked about a variety of different possibilities like collaboration time to where they'd have chunks of time set aside for them to work together to do collaborative planning, for them to be professionals like in many industries where they know the best work comes when they're working together. So it would not necessarily make for a longer teacher work week or instructional work week either, especially as we look for other scenarios like increasing the length of their specialist time, like physical education and the arts.
How much do we read into the fact that there's no agreement on the length of contract, 2 years versus 3 years? I mean, you can't really talk about much else in a contract unless you're deciding whether it's going to be over 2 years or 3, right? I mean, that's pretty basic.
It is pretty basic, but a lot of times it has to do with what issues we're trying to tackle and how much money that we're talking about. There's some things that we know the state has a 2-year budget cycle, and so there's a lot more that's certain within the first 2 years, and the third year becomes somewhat of an unknown. And so depending upon where we're at, some things become really high on the list. I'm a high school principal. In 2 years, our district needs to start offering at least more credit opportunities for all of our high school students. They'll have to reach 24 credits, and right now we only offer 24 credits to our high school students. And so the ninth graders in 2 years, that we're going to need to offer them more, because it's not okay for us to only have a situation where they're able to earn 24 credits in 4 years, and losing one class would cause them to be off track. And so, depending upon what we're talking about, it has gone back and forth. Both sides have proposed 2 years, both sides have proposed 3 years at different stages of the negotiations.
Can you go back to the 3-year proposal and the 14% raise? Can you tell me what that would equal if you take the COLA out? So what percentage you're talking about?
The COLA this year, in the first year of the contract, is a 3% COLA. In the second year, it's a 1.8% COLA, and we don't know about the third year, as the state only does a 2 years. So if you just remove those numbers from the total there, that shows what the district is offering in additional compensation.
And can you say how much just the district is offering for each specific year? The first year, how much would teachers get from Seattle, from the district?
We may have to get you that, Counselor.
Oh,
In 15-16, it's 2.0 from SPS, 3.0 in cost of living. 16-17 is 3.2 from SPS, 1.8 from cost of living. And then in the fourth year, for teachers, it would be 4%. There is no cost of living yet that's adjusted on that one. And for classified staff, it would be 3.75%.
So it sounds like this is the same offer that was given before the Labor Day weekend.
The third year was increased over the weekend. Correct. The third year raise.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that again, the percentages for SBS, the first, second, and third year, to make sure I have it right? I'm sorry.
Sure.